Alright, what's up guys? I'm back with another tier list video. Today we're going to be ranking the best grapplers in the UFC with a tier list. Now just to preface, I am going to favor the dangerous grapplers in the higher tier list. So how likely are they to finish the fight if the fight goes to the ground, not just a control merchant that just sits there and holds you. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also threw in the zero ground skill just for some fun. So let me know if you agree or disagree. Let's get right into it. Starting off with Paddy Pimblett. I'm going to put Paddy in the B tier. Paddy has really, I would say, underrated grappling, but he hasn't fought enough high level competition to show how good it really is. So I think Paddy in the B tier is fair. Obviously, he just choked out Bobby Green completely unconscious, which was impressive, and outstruck him. So Paddy Pimblett's grappling, I'd say it's really good, but it hasn't been tested against anybody good. Bobby Green's not a good grappler. So I would say maybe if he submits Moicano, that would be impressive. Maybe if he submits somebody in the top 10. But as of now, I think B tier for Paddy is really good. It's obvious his grappling is good, but how good? We just haven't seen it. Dangerous? I don't think he's too dangerous on the ground, but you definitely want to avoid the ground in Paddy if you can. All right, moving right along. Aljamain Sterling. I'm going to put him in the B tier. Aljo also in the B tier. Now, some people might look at that and say Aljo and Paddy in the same tier, but bro, listen. Aljo, he's good at getting people to the ground sometimes, but when he can't get you to the ground, he's cooked. But he's got really good grappling if he can get it to the ground first, which his wrestling isn't the most amazing. It's decent, but if he gets on your back, Aljo the backpack, he's pretty scary. But can he get you to the back? I don't think he's like the most dangerous grappler in the world. So Aljo at the B tier, I think is fair. Maybe if he submits Mavsar, he can go up to the A tier because that would be very impressive. But B tier for Aljo, I think for now is good. Moving along, Belal Muhammed, C tier. The reason I put Belal in C, he's got good, decent wrestling, good takedowns, good control, but zero finishing ability. So I can't put him any higher than the C tier. I know people are going to say, oh, well, grappling's not all about finishing. To me, that's how I rate grappling. I rate it on how well can you use it to contribute to the end of the fight. And Belal, he can be out grappled. It's shown in the Leon fight. He got out grappled in round 2. But he has really good takedowns. He has really good control. So I would say overall, Belal's a good grappler. He's just not a dangerous grappler. So C tier for Belal, I think is good. Yeah, moving right along. Let's go and pull out a S tier. Islam Makhachev, S tier, obviously. If you go to the ground with Makhachev, you're at any moment risk of the fight being ended, risk of submission. I mean, just showing against Dustin Poirier in round 5, submitted him. He could submit you at any point in the fight, and his grappling IQ is some of the highest. His decision making on the ground is some of the highest. His control, his submissions, just all around a dangerous, good grappler. So I think Islam obviously is easy S tier. No arguing that. Yep. And he submitted Charles Oliveira, the submission king, and he pretty much submitted most of the guys he was fighting coming up. Bobby Green, he TKO'd on the ground. Dan Hooker, he submitted. I mean, the list goes on. So Makhachev in the S tier for sure. Moving right along. John Jones, A tier. John Jones in the A tier. He's dangerous in grappling sometimes, but a lot of times he can get the fight to the ground. Honestly, I forgot about fucking John Jones because he only fights once every 10 years. But yeah, John Jones, obviously he destroyed Ciryl Gane on the ground. That was impressive, but Ciryl Gane doesn't really have a ground game. So, but after 3 years off, it was impressive to see John Jones come back and just steamroll him on the ground. And yeah, before that, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen John Jones out grapple anybody. He didn't do much to Reyes in the grappling. He didn't do anything to Santos in the grappling. Anthony Smith, yeah, he beat him, but it's Anthony Smith. But John Jones obviously has good grappling. A tier, especially for the higher weight classes, it's impressive. I mean, just look at the submission of Lyoto Machida way back in the day. That was whenever he dropped him to the ground from that guillotine. That was scary. Yeah, John Jones in the A tier, I think, is good. Moving right along, we're going to go with Anthony Hernandez. Let's go with B tier. Now, if you know, you know. Fluffy, my boy, this dude is on a tear. He's got some of the best cardio, and his grappling is so dangerous. he can submit anybody on any given night in the middleweight division. I don't remember who he submitted last, but this dude's grappling is so underrated. The only reason I can't put him in the A or S tier is because the level of competition. So he's not really proven to be able to grapple against the best of them. But Anthony Hernandez, my boy Fluffy the teddy bear, bro, you don't want to be on the ground with this dude. This dude might just put your ass to take a nap for a second. But yeah, Anthony Hernandez in the B tier. Moving right along. Let's go with T City, Brian Ortega in the A tier. Now, Brian Ortega, he is very dangerous on the ground, shown in the Volk fight, shown in whenever he submitted. Why am I bringing this up? Whenever he submitted Cub Swanson back in the day, that's irrelevant. Whenever he submitted Yair Rodriguez recently, he had the scary moments against Volk. Like his submit, he's dangerous in the grappling. Like you do not want to go to the ground with Brian Ortega. He could latch up a submission at any point. Can't say I can put him in S tier because his wrestling just isn't great. So him getting the fight to the ground in the first place can be tough. But yeah. Oh, and to mention John Jones, his wrestling is really good too. So on top of good submissions. But yeah, Brian Ortega in the A tier is perfect, I think. Moving right along. Let's go with Volkanovski. We'll put him in the C tier. Now, Volk is one of the best defensive grapplers in the UFC, but he doesn't really have any submission threat. He's just really good at not being submitted and getting back up. And yeah, if he wanted to, whenever he fought Yair, he can get the fight to the ground. Volk has really underrated grappling and wrestling, but not really much of a submission threat like Belal. Good takedowns, good control, good at getting up, good at not getting submitted. But as far as submissions and threats on the ground, he's not that much of a threat. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski in the C tier. Moving right along, let's go with Conor McGregor. Easy, 0 ground skill. What has Conor McGregor done on the ground in his entire career throughout the UFC? He was submitted by Khabib. He was submitted by Nate Diaz. I mean, that's really all you need to know. Conor McGregor, not that hard to out grapple these days. He's more his biggest fight today is with Proper 12 than it is with UFC fights. But yeah, Conor McGregor, no ground skill. I think that's fair to say, especially at 36 years old. He's washed. If you get Conor McGregor to the ground, if you can even get him to the octagon, I think Michael Chandler can submit him or potentially knock him out. But that's besides the point. Conor McGregor has no ground skill. So, yeah. Moving right along. Alexandre Pantoja. I'll put him in the B tier just because he does have some finishes from grappling on his way up to the title. And he is impressive. He has good submissions, good control, good dominant grappling overall. But I mean, if you're going to the ground with this guy, it's not like he's going to instantly latch up a submission. He's probably going to camp in half guard for half the fight and cruise his way to a decision, which is frustrating because I feel like if he tried, he probably could get a submission, but he just doesn't go for it as much as he could. I get it, position over submission, but Alexandre Pantoja in the B tier, I think, is where he belongs. Yeah. Moving right along, let's go ahead and grab Jairzinho Rosenstruik. 0 ground skill. Yep. Obviously, if you get this dude, the blob himself, to the ground, I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed a submission. This dude's ground skills are about as good as my skills at hula hooping. I don't know. That was stupid. But yeah, Rosenstruik, 0 ground skills, not any threat on the ground. And Lafitte, yeah, he'll knock you into another dimension, but on the ground, he's not doing anything, dude. You're going to get him down. And I think if fucking Chris Dawkins would have got this dude to the ground, he probably could have submitted him. Nah, all jokes aside, Rosenstruik, good fighter, good heavyweight, but 0 grappling. You get this guy to the ground, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. All right, moving along. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Let's go with B tier. Now, Shavkat in the B tier, I was going to put him in A, but he did struggle to take down Wonderboy, but he did submit Wonderboy, first guy to submit Wonderboy. He did submit Jeff Neal. He has really good grappling, but let's see if he can do that to Belal, which I think he can. If he steamrolls Belal and just submits him, that would be incredible. I'd put him in the A tier easily. Maybe even in the S tier if he continues to get finishes. But Shavkat in the B tier, I think is fair. Can't wait to see the fight with him and Belal. I think he's going to submit Belal and outstrike him. So let's see. Moving right along, Brendan Allen. B tier as well. Brendan Allen in the B tier. Could have put him in A. He's really good grappling. I'd love to see him and Fluffy fight because they're both amazing grapplers. But yeah, Brendan Allen, really good submissions. This dude's like the rear naked choke king. He's submitting everybody on the come up. I think him and Anthony Hernandez are the two dark horses of the middleweight division. I can see him getting up to the top. And yeah, maybe top 5 fighters in the future, maybe top 7. We'll see. But yeah, Brendan Allen, really good submissions, really good grappling. Yeah, I think that's fair in B tier. Moving right along, Arman Tsaryukan, A tier. Arman, amazing grappler. Some of the best scrambles, some of the best takedowns, and just survivability on the ground shown in the Charles Oliveira fight. Really hard to submit. He was in that guillotine, but couldn't be submitted. So I think Arman in the A tier is fair. He's out grappled most people he's fought. I think he would have out grappled Beneil Dariush if he didn't knock him out in the first round. He did have that close loss to Gamrot, which I think he should have won, but the scrambles in that fight were amazing. He out grappled and kept up with Islam Makhachev in some moments back in their fight in 2017, I think it was. So yeah, Arman's a really good grappler. I can't wait to see the fight between him and Makhachev. I just think he's lacking that danger. Like I don't see Arman the second he gets you to the ground, he's going to submit you. But his grappling's really good, so we'll put him in the A tier. Moving right along, Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I am going to put him in the S tier just because this dude might have the most dangerous first round grappling in UFC history. Like this guy sprints across the octagon, shoots a double leg on you, and there's not much you can do. You know he's going to do it. The only thing that really eye opening, I guess, is he couldn't submit Usman in the first round. But I'll give him a pass. He submitted. He's very, very dangerous. Like I do think. I know I said Robert. When he fights Robert Whitaker, I do think Whitaker's going to survive. But man, if he gets Whitaker's back in the first round, it might be over. But let's see. I think Whitaker pulls through. But Khamzat, one of the most dangerous grapplers ever in the UFC. I think there was a video that just dropped of him. Who did he ragdolled somebody? And Luke Rockhold. Yeah, Khamzat. There's a video. He just ragdolled Luke Rockhold in a grappling match. And if you know, Luke Rockhold has good grappling. So, but let's see. I think he's one of the most dangerous grapplers. Let's see if we can just get him in the cage. That's the most important thing. Moving along. Let's go with Dricus. I'm going to put Dricus in the A tier. Now, Dricus has really underrated grappling. A lot of people look at his goofy striking, but forget coming up, this dude was a submission artist, submitting everybody. He's also the first fighter to submit Adesanya. He's out-grappled most of the people. He out-grappled Robert Whitaker. He out-grappled Sean Strickland in some moments. Like, Dricus has really underrated grappling. And I like Dricus' grappling style because he tries to finish the fight for the most part. So I say Dricus in the A tier. Solid wrestling, solid submissions overall. Good champion. I think he's going to be tough to beat as a champion. So yeah, I don't see him getting out grappled by anybody. I think even if he fights Khamzat, it'll be a stalemate in the grappling. So yeah. Next up, S tier, Charles Oliveira, obviously. Submission kings. I know he was submitted by Islam and out grappled some moments by Arman, but he did have Arman in that submission in the third round. And man, who knows what would have happened if that fight kept going on. But yeah, Charles Oliveira in the S tier, very dangerous. If he gets you to the ground, you might be latched up in a submission in a matter of seconds. You might be taking a nap. Yeah, most submissions in UFC history. He is getting up there in age, 34, going to be 35 in October, I believe. So time's ticking for your boy, but nonetheless, he has very dangerous grappling. Wrestling, not the most amazing, but if he gets you to the ground, it might be night-night, as I said. Moving right along, Tai Tuivasa. Now, we all know Tai Tuivasa is the best black belt in jiu-jitsu in the UFC. I mean, this guy submits everybody at heavyweight now. Tai Tuivasa, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I got this guy to the ground, I probably could latch up like a rear naked choke. Like, his ground game is atrocious. I don't understand. I get it. I guess it's heavyweight, but I don't understand how you make it all the way up to the top of the UFC to have zero ground game. Like, did they just purposely not train it? Like, it goes to the ground and it looks like a fish out of water. I don't understand it. But Tai Tuivasa, the Blob Man, he's on a 5-fight losing streak, which sucks because I like him. He's a fan favorite, but dude has no grappling. It's embarrassing. He needs to work on it. Yeah, moving right along. Let's go with Ciryl Gane, another fighter with absolutely no grappling, shown in the John Jones fight and shown in the Francis Ngannou fight. He turned Francis Ngannou into a successful wrestler, because Ciryl Gane has no grappling skill. He has no fight IQ on the ground. He just either lays there and gets pounded on top, or he just takes a submission loss to John Jones in 2 minutes. Yeah. Ciryl Gane needs to stop playing FIFA and work on his grappling, but I don't think he will because he doesn't take MMA seriously. He'd rather play FIFA and film movies and duck the entire heavyweight division than do anything. So yeah, Ciryl Gane in the zero ground skill because I genuinely think he has no ground skill. Moving on, Ilia Topuria. I'm gonna put him in the B tier. Topuria in the B tier. I think he has really good grappling, underrated grappling. A lot of people forget that his grappling is really good because he's been getting a lot of knockouts and known for his really good pocket boxing against Josh Emmett, against Bryce Mitchell. He actually submitted against Volk. He knocked him out. But man, grappling, Ilia's, I don't see anybody out grappling him. Max Holloway's definitely not going to out grapple him. If anything, Max Holloway's going to have to win in the stand up. Ilia has really nasty submissions. He uses his striking to get you to a submission. Um, Maybe he could be A tier if his wrestling was better, but doesn't have the best takedowns. He's just got really good boxing, and usually he knocks you down and then gets you into submission that way. But yeah, Ilia in the B tier, I think it's fair. And last but not least, can't wait for all the haters to see this one. Isral Adesanya, no ground skill. Dude's just a soy boy on the ground. Absolutely no ground skill. Shown in the Dricus fight. The second he went to the ground, he was latched up in a submission in like 5 seconds after pointing to the ground like Max Holloway, which is hilarious. I mean, the only person he had any success in grappling against was who was it? It was Alex Pereira, but Alex Pereira is a kickboxer, so obviously against Marvin Vittori, couldn't do nothing on the ground. I mean, dude, Israel Adesanya, oh my, dude, how do you in the UFC since 2018 and you have no grappling? Like, why don't these people work on their submissions? I guess what it shows you about MMA is that you truly can't develop submissions in a matter of 5 or 6 years. The people who have been working at it for a lifetime are gonna out grapple you the whole time. I guess that's what it is. Maybe they are working on their grappling, but either way, there's the tier list for the best grapplers slash most dangerous grapplers in the UFC. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Thank you for all the likes and comments and new subscribers. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.